What's up, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we highlight the latest news and vulnerabilities in cybersecurity, as well as we showcase those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and today, as always, I'm joined by Shannon
What's up? What's up?
and LeVon Maynard.
Where at?
All right, so we have an action-packed week. A little bit of a format change, so we're still doing Monday through Friday, except for when you're tuning in this week, you'll get our two topics of the week on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, you'll get Ask Us SP. Thursday, you will get our discussion topic, which I won't spoil this in this episode, so you can stay tuned. And then Friday, we'll do our weekly rundown like we normally do. So with that being said, for Monday, we're going to talk about the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service exploiting 5 publicly known vulnerabilities to compromise U.S. and allied networks. Really long title to an article, but if you're keeping up with the news, it's pretty hot take, pretty fresh in what the U.S. is now saying and what we're now doing. So with that being said, I kick it over to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So like Ryan mentioned here, right? So this was actually a cybersecurity advisory was put out, and it's from the 16th Air Force, actually. And like he said with the title, Russian Foreign Intelligence Service exploiting 5 publicly known vulnerabilities to compromise U.S. and allied networks, right? So we already knew from the SolarWinds hack, like we announced back in January, that they were the likely culprits of this, right? Which means we pretty much know it was them, right? So it shouldn't come as a surprise to us that they're going around doing this, right? So the NSA, the CISA, FBI, they jointly released a cybersecurity advisory that says Russian SVR targets U.S. and allied networks to expose ongoing Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, SVR, exploitation of 5 publicly known vulnerabilities. This advisory is being released alongside the U.S. government's formal attribution of the SolarWinds supply chain compromise, right, which was back in January. We said we're pretty sure they did it, and related cyber espionage campaign. And the reason they put this out is to highlight additional tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs, being used by Russian intelligence so the network defenders could take action to mitigate against them, right? So there was 5 different things that they went after, right? And there were some CVEs. There's 5 different CVEs for this, but basically what they affected was Fortinet, FortiGate VPN, Synacore Zimbra collaboration suite, Pulse Secure, Pulse Connect Secure VPN, Citrix Application Delivery Controller and Gateway, and VMware Workspace One Access, right? So I went and looked at these CVEs, right? Because I was like, okay, they were already publicly known. And I'm looking, and as I look at the numbering format for these CVEs, I'm looking at them and I see 2018, 2019, and usually that means that's about the year that it came out, right? That's not always the case. I'm not gonna say that's not always the case, but it's usually when it was discovered. So when I see this 2018, I went and looked at it, and it was actually discovered in 2019. But the point being, it was still almost 2 years ago, something that was discovered and was known about, right? The fact that Russia is confident enough to go look at some of these, when I looked at all 5, the one that was last had any type of change to it or anything was from January of this year, right? So even then, let's do the math on that, right? January to February is the month, February to March, March to April. We got 3 months that went by before it was something that they decided, okay, it's something that's public, but we're still going to try to access this. And here's the thing. There is going to be success with this, right? There is success with this that they found, from things that are almost 2 years old to things that were referenced 3 months ago, right? So why are we still doing this? This goes into some of the topics we went to in the past, right? With current administration putting money into cybersecurity, right? This what was it? 500 billion or 500, was it 500 million? What was it? 500
million, if I remember correctly.
500 million twice to be 1 billion.
Right.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
So 500 million and 500 million to give us $1 billion. So this is why that's needed, right? Because even though we have stuff out there that has been almost 2 years old now, I think May of 2019, I think was the oldest time frame. Been out there for almost 2 years. We're still getting owned for this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we have made it aware. I know how this works. Like, we're supposed to be looking at these CVEs. I'm not going to say daily, but at least weekly, right? To say, okay, what's new that's out there? What's new coming out? These things are distributed all the time. You know what I mean? They're readily available for us to see, to say, okay, let's make sure if we are using these tools, because I'm not saying everything that they went after is something that's being used, right? But even Now they put this out for the DVD for the DoD, but the DoD is not the only one that's using these products, right? Citrix is out there in the public, right? VMware is especially out there in the public, right? So this is stuff that I don't understand how something from 2 years ago Russia is so confident to say, let's go ahead and look at this and see if this is a way we can get in, right? So I guess if we were smarter than that, we wouldn't have too much to talk about on the show, right? Like every week it would be we have to do something different, right? Like it keeps us talking and making people aware of what's going on out there. But this is just one of those things I'm like, we've got to be better than this, right? Because you got a foreign nation out there saying, I'm fairly certain I can make this work and attack some of these U.S. and allied networks to see a way to get in. You know what I mean? But that's just my take on it. LeVon, what you got on this, man?
Yeah, I think it's like just like you said, you pretty much covered it pretty well. Just the fact that obviously these are some old exploits, and that it's taken so long for people to kind of realize that these are out here and to take care, mitigate these vulnerabilities on their systems. It's um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what could be the cause of that. I mean, I know DoD and other organizations are known for like taking their sweet time with upgrading the system sometimes, and I think I've heard people are still on XP out there, that people don't even care what like operating system they're using as long as it still works. As long as it's working, they don't really give it any mind. But that's when they get attacked. It's like they have some old software, they have some old unpatched system. Um, and then you have these exploits from 2018, like you referenced, 2018, 2019, 2020. I mean, for Russia to be using these old exploits and being successful on like attacking government systems is very concerning. I mean, I think as you mentioned, with the investment, the potential investment in cybersecurity, which would be a great thing, which should be a thing, especially with so much important information that our DoD organizations are holding. They're holding like people actually citizen information as well as their own secret like weapon development and things like that that are probably essential. And if they got leaked, that they would be a big deal. So hopefully the DoD takes note, and that they're like maybe they start investing more time, more money into these initiatives, the cybersecurity. Hopefully, like spin up the environment so that it's more secure and more reliable. That we can count on them not to be taken advantage of by another country, because nobody likes to get taken advantage of. But what you think about this, Ryan?
I think it's good transparency that they would come out and say, hey, like first off, they actually attributed it to Russia, like officially saying, hey, these are definitely the culprits. This is how they got in, or a few of the ways they got in that we can currently disclose, as well as here is some like their popular five. Here's their top five that they may be coming at you with. So for them to release the information, obviously they've already began patching it and whatnot. But I did read another article, which I couldn't find. I was trying to dig up, where they're saying that the FBI and other agencies are starting to reach out to companies to say, hey, we know that you have these vulnerabilities. So you need to patch your systems before either Russia already has a foothold or before they get a foothold within your network. So it goes. So they're actually paying attention, as well as being more proactive and contact. Because even though all this happened, like I had a poll in my office to ask them if they knew why this was happening, like when it was announced on the news, and they had no clue. Like they all have computers. Like none of them are obviously security people, so they don't have to patch them or whatnot. But they're not patching their systems unless Windows tells them to, right? So I think, like obviously for us and our audience, like we understand what's going on, but for regular, Jack and Jill out there, they have no clue. So hopefully this goes the route of being more transparent, being more proactive, and sharing this information, and then just kind of like pushing them out of our networks because we know they're in there pretty deep. So I thought it's good. It's good news. It's in my opinion. I can see this being the beginning of perhaps more PSAs, more like a campaign to tell people like, hey, this is what's going on, and by the way, Russia knows everything.
Yeah, right.
They're in all your systems.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know what a CV is, right? So they wouldn't know, what they need to do to patch it. Like I looked at a couple of these, but there's some of these I've never seen before. Like obviously I know VMware, I know Citrix, but I didn't know 40 gate VPN. Never heard of it. I was like, obviously I know I'm not affected because I don't have it, but I was like, I don't even know who would be affected. So I do think this is going a long way into to helping prevent some of this stuff from happening in the future. But I am very optimistic. So put that out there too.
But you bring up a good point, right? And you referenced it to individual users, right, at their home. Like they're like, I don't patch anything until Windows tells me to, right? Well, these weren't Windows, right? Like these were third party vulnerabilities, right? It wasn't part of Microsoft, right? So how many people are doing that are in some of these other companies, you know what I mean? Just like, all right, well, whenever I see a notification that comes back from Microsoft or whatever, then I'll know I need to go out and patch, right? Well, no, you have more than that on your network. You have other things on your network you may be using, especially in this day and age with COVID and the teleworking. That VPN one, like that is one that is probably being heavily used out there, right? So it's just one of those things where people just need to keep up with that stuff. Like you should know your environment to know whether or not you're going to be affected by this. That would be my hope, right? If you're a large company. For the personal user, okay, maybe not so much, right? Like everybody has a computer, not everybody knows how to use a computer, but I would hope that, especially in the DoD, you know your network enough to know, okay, well, I do have some Fortinet products, right? Like I do have VMware products, you know what I mean? Like I know I need to be looking at this and seeing if it's applicable to what I have. But that's my hope anyway. I can't say that that's actually 100% true.
Yeah, I mean,
good points.
it all comes down to education. So hopefully, hopefully this turns to an education campaign, just to let people know, make them more aware of what's going on out there. Because like it feels like every day there's a new social media compromise, there's a new IoT compromise. There's like something's always popping up. But so it seems like we're getting faster identifying it. We just need to be faster at actually protecting our networks and our systems. And what they always say, like your weakest link, you know what I mean? Like you're only as strong as your weakest link. And that is your common everyday user who isn't getting that stellar IA training necessarily every year. So
Very
but
true.
yeah, I think this is good info.
Mhm. Yeah, and you're 100% right, Ryan. That's like that is like, I don't know the statistic, but I believe that most like vulnerabilities end up happening from a lot of like end users and like their emails. They get like a phishing email, they click a link or they download some product and it gets into the machine, and then they're able to like traverse the network in some kind of fashion. But yeah, this is a good point. We got to educate the end users as well as the people that are actually running the IT systems and you know actually have to hold the role of some sort of IA position in the company. So it's definitely a good point for sure.
Right. So like I guess big picture, there's bad people out there. Some of them are nation states trying to get to your info and into your business. So you got to be smart. You got to patch your stuff. With that being said, I think that brings us to the natural conclusion of this episode. I'd like to thank my co-hosts. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. We're going to get into a little bit more detail into like that whole IoT situation later on in the week. So please stay tuned. Please go to our website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you can get to our social medias, such as our Facebook group, also called The Other Side of the Firewall. You can reach me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, IG, and TikTok at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. And LeVon?
You hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. So please feel free to ask some questions, leave comments, feedback, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, ring some bells. I don't know. Do what you do to stay up to date. So with that, peace.